Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Grand Bazaar. I lied slightly when I said I would be back on the 3rd. We are going to be picking up on the 3rd shortly, but I have a really important event that I forgot to include because I kind of accidentally walked into it without thinking on our first day of spring. So it is late at night. This event can occur on a sunny or cloudy day, no rain, in between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m., so very late into the night. And all you have to do is walk away from your farm. So that mysterious waterfall is now open to us. And behind it is this hidden shrine. This sort of magical place with a beautiful maiden behind it. Surprise! We have another wife option. A visitor. How unusual. I'm Amiko. What's your name? I see. Interesting. Nice to meet you. So I have to take a moment to talk a little bit about this because I know that our wife poll is already underway, but I had very good reasoning for not including her on the wife poll. She's this game's equivalent of mystical marriage candidate. This game does not have the harvest goddess or the witch princess, so Amiko is their answer to that. And as you can expect, that means that she is incredibly difficult to marry and things work with her a little bit differently. You cannot get access to her until year 2. You have to wait until year 2. There is absolutely no way around it. So that's already sort of a bummer when I want to be married in year 2. She has very difficult gifts that will increase her friendship by a lot. So I'm stuck giving her liked gifts only, which increases her friendship a little bit more slowly. So it's not like we can fast track her to marriage by giving her amazing gifts. And the other problem is that you have to give her a minimum of 120 gifts before she will marry you, even if she was at a maximum red heart before that point. So that is one entire year of gift giving, and that is if you were to give her a gift on every single day in a calendar year. And I'm telling you right now that the possibility of that is incredibly slim because you can't enter her shrine when it is raining. So you can't talk to her, enter her shrine, access her at all if it is raining outside. So you're sort of at the mercy of the weather. So that means that we would have to wait a year minimum before we were able to marry her at all. She will also not accept bugs or fish. She doesn't say she doesn't like them, she just won't accept them, period. So my suggestion would be sticking to herbs, so mint, chamomile, and lavender, and flowers. She will take any kind of flower, and if you want to get her heart level up faster, she likes blue wrapping paper. But it's just going to take way too long to be able to marry her in a timely fashion. But I will do my best to give her gifts regardless and befriend her. And she's also like a mirror where you cannot see her friendship level because she doesn't have a heart portrait next to her name because she's considered a special, secret, hidden candidate, whatever you want to call her. So you can see that she's now in our asset library under villagers, and we can check her friendship level, but it's going to take a while to probably work up her friendship at this point. But I will do my best, and I've probably spent a little bit too long talking about this, but I just know that it might be a disappointment to some people that she's not included, because there have been other games where I have married the Witch Princess, but in this game I think it's just a little bit unrealistic with where my goals are of where I actually plan on sort of finishing up the playthrough. Now that that is all over and done with, I will fast forward to the third day of spring where I actually wanted to start today's video. So here we are on the third day of spring. I worked my butt off last night, very, very, very late into the morning to get everything planted. All of those seeds that we bought last night, with the exception of my middle field here, have been planted. So I'm actually going to prepare this field. And the reason that I haven't planted anything here is because I want to go and get some turnips from Raoul. The bottom field is full of asparagus. So this is 54 plots worth of asparagus. The middle field is going to be a split between turnips and potatoes. In this upper field, we have our tea tree coming in. And then half the field, the left half is strawberries and the right half is cucumbers. And I thought that cucumbers and strawberries would be a good mix because those are the two crops that are replenishable. So once they come in, they're just gonna keep giving me crops and I don't have to get more seeds and replant them. And then my basement for now is also going to be a mix of potatoes and turnips. And as a matter of fact, my potatoes are ready. So we will go and buy the turnips that I need. And unfortunately down here, because we can't use fertilizer, we're going to be stuck with lower level crops unless we grow crops and then turn them into seeds once they get to kind of a higher level. But I figured potatoes and turnips down here in the basement would be a good mixture, just because it gives me a little bit something to work with. Running out of energy. It takes up a lot of stamina to take care of all of these crops. Having an upgraded hoe and an upgraded watering can does help immensely, but we have to do fertilizer and planting 1 square at a time. So let's head out over to Raoul's, and on the way, I'm just going to talk about a few other things that change in year 2. The first thing you'll notice when you pick up any forageable item, weeds, branches, stone, flowers, herbs, anything like that, is that the quality has increased significantly. Last year, everything was at half a star, 1 star, maybe 1.5 stars if we were lucky. Whereas this year, it's going to be that everything will start at about a star and a half, and you'll probably get a star and a half to 2 stars of quality for every wild item that you pick up. And the same goes for bugs. So any bug that you pick up now is going to be at a higher level than it was last year. And that will happen every year in the game up until year 5. And once you get to year 5, all of your wild forageable items will actually be at 5 stars. So it's kind of a nice thing because we can make higher level fertilizer, and if we cook with any of those items or we use them in the windmill, all of the stuff that we make is going to come out at a little bit of a higher quality, which is fantastic. Fish are exempt from this rule because the level of the fish depends on the level of your fishing rod. Another huge, absolutely huge game changer for us this year is having access to all of our windmills. So with our milling windmill, we now cut out having to buy seeds entirely. We are able to break down every single crop in this game into seeds, which is amazing. So we no longer have to spend money or wait for the bazaar in order to replant our fields. And it's kind of the best of both worlds because 1 crop will equal 2 seeds. So I have 18 potatoes here. I only have to put 9 of them in order to replace all 18 potatoes that I just harvested. And that means that I will still have 9 potatoes left over that I can use to sell. I can sell the raw crop, I can use it as gifts, I can cook with it, whatever it is that I want to do. Or I can put everything in and I can double the amount of potatoes that I just grew. So it was really expensive to buy all the seeds and to do the startup initially, but I really do think that this is going to be instrumental in our success at the bazaar. And if we recall, some of the seeds, like yellow peppers and blight grass seeds, are worth just as much or more as what the base item is. So that's something else to keep a lookout for. Depending on the crop, when you break it down into seeds, it might actually be worth more money. The other amazing thing about doing this is that if we get higher level crops by fertilizing, then we can produce higher level seeds, and that will increase our money further as well. And we can keep doing this process of planting, fertilizing, and breaking them down into seeds until we get crops that are 5 stars. And at that point, we have so many possibilities of where the best source of income lies because we also have our basement where we can grow things all year long. We're not limited by season anymore. So I'm really excited because we just have so much going for us. We're going to be so busy. We have so many options on what it is that we want to do, and I'm really hoping that I'm also going to have more options for cooking and more options for putting things into the windmill, because we've only really touched the tip of the iceberg when it comes to our windmill. There's a lot of stuff that we don't make, we don't have the ability to make. So over at Raoul's, I'm going to buy 54 turnip seeds. We haven't forgotten about you, turnips. You absolutely carried us last year. So just under $6,500 for those. And we are going to be spending a lot of money on fertilizer. It's going to cost us about $1,500 a day in fertilizer, which is a lot of money, but I kind of feel like it evens out, to be honest. If we're spending money on fertilizer, but we're not spending money on seeds, and we're getting more money for our crops, then I think it will end up with net profits. Now, that is something we will keep an eye out for in our assets menu. It's very easy to check and see if we're actually bringing in money. But this is going to be the best way for us to increase our crops level to get seeds that are much, much higher quality. And I am just gonna stock up because I'm gonna be using about 150-ish pieces of fertilizer every single day. I don't want to stock up too much. I don't want to go too crazy because I don't want to use up all of my inventory space, but I think if I stock up now, it will stop me from having repeat trips. And keep in mind that if you've gone for the tree route and you've decided to dedicate an entire field to trees, then your cost of fertilizer is going to go way down because you only need to fertilize all of those trees once. You'll probably also have less work to do because trees only need to be watered up to a certain point. And I'm also still playing with the mindset of getting the bazaar built up quickly. So this is still a lot. It's a lot of work. It's very time consuming. It makes the days very, very long. It's a little bit hardcore, I think. So take this opportunity to do what it is that you want to do. Play around. Have fun. Experiment. There are still things that I haven't done, right? I haven't explored much about tree care. I didn't plant wheat. I mean, there are still things that I haven't done yet that I'd like to do. But I'm kind of going just for a variety. Completion, I guess, too, because I want to plant as many different kinds of crops as I can. The asparagus is going to be a really, really big money maker, but it does take a little bit of time for that all to come in. I'm going to be using my turnips primarily for income at the bazaar while I wait for my other crops to all come in. So I'm going to be making those into turnip salads, and they also grow really fast. They have a fast turnaround rate, so hopefully I can work on increasing the quality of those seeds really, really quickly. Potatoes are kind of in the same boat as turnips. They grow pretty quickly and they're worth a decent amount of money. And our tea seed is not going to be ready for quite some time, so we're just kind of patiently waiting for that to come in. Once it does, we'll be able to get ourselves some tea leaves. And this is my process, people. One by one, I'm going to be doing all 3 fields every single day. I don't have to worry about the basement because it doesn't allow me to put fertilizer in there. But I really have to watch my stamina. And I also want to juggle socializing, getting those gifts to the girls to make sure that I'm not forgetting about that, increasing their heart levels so that we can get married sooner than later. And I also try not to leave my house too late because forageable items tend to disappear if you leave them for too long. So I kind of break up my workday. I do my first watering in the morning so that I can water later on in the day. And then I usually kind of do like a little bit of fertilizing and then come back and do the rest of it later. And I try to maximize the amount of time that I'm spending recovering my stamina in my bathroom and bathtub. So I think what I'll do is I will do 5 rows of turnips here. We'll do 4 rows of potatoes. And then we will use the rest in the basement. Now, once everything is planted, this does go by a little bit faster. It's really just the fertilizing that just takes absolutely forever because you have to do it 1 square at a time. The Wonderful Life remake has a machine called a fertilizer spreader, and my god, this game needs that desperately. I would pay so much money to have one of those in this game. And once we plant these turnips, I should get rid of all of my seeds. I'll have gotten rid of all of them. I was very careful when I counted, so I didn't end up with any odd number. Everything just lined up really, really beautifully. And that means that everything is planted and we are now ready to just take care of them, see how they grow, and wait for them to come in. So fingers crossed that I will have more things coming in and a few more things to bring to the bazaar by the end of the week. Some of the crops that we have grow within a week, so I'm just kind of keeping my fingers crossed. So you can see I'm running out of stamina now. But I still have to water all of the crops here in the basement. And I also still have 2 other fields that I have to fertilize as well. But that is one of the positive things that can be said about this game, is that it absolutely does not matter whether you go to bed at 10 p.m. or whether you pass out at 5 a.m. You will still wake up with a full stamina bar, and there doesn't seem to be any negative repercussions for doing that whatsoever that I've been able to find. So if I need to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning taking care of my fields, then that's just what I do. And there are a lot of times when that does happen, especially now that I just have so many fields that do require me to take care of them. Obviously, our tool upgrades help a lot. And I still feel like even though it's a lot of work that I haven't bit off more than I can chew, this is manageable. It just takes a lot of time. But I have done pretty careful planning, and being able to stay up super, super late is really, really helpful and absolutely amazing. So I'm not going to fertilize everything because we have seen that before. I just fertilized this entire field. We've been playing this game for over a year now in-game. You all kind of know my process and how everything works. But I just wanted to show off where I'm at and where I'm going to be, because this is kind of going to be what takes up the majority of my time. I'm also going to go and visit our shrine maiden. I usually come and visit her late at night after I've kind of finished all of my work for the day or when I want a little break. And then I usually have a flower or an herb or something to give her. It is a good idea to start saving your flowers again, because we will have our flower festival coming up. And that is probably where I will come back for our next video, which is on the 8th. So I've got a good couple of days to just work on getting all of those crops grown. And then the following day will be the bazaar. So I will probably be doing 2 back-to-back videos on the 8th and the 9th. But the flower festival will start on the 8th, so this is the perfect opportunity to start saving up your flowers. Hopefully by now you've got a decent amount of inventory space and you can kind of throw these in your inventory. You can see that I have a lot of flowers already, and I've got a few more days before the festival starts to save even more. And hopefully we will win again this year, and it's just a really good opportunity to build some friendship as well. Give the villagers a little bit of love, because I've been so focused on our bachelorettes, and I really didn't do a lot of gift giving in wintertime, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. So wish me luck on the amount of work I've made for myself, but hopefully when I come back we will have some beautiful crops to show for it. Thank you also very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.